Panic attacks, depression, anxiety, our mental wellness. That's what we're getting into in today's episode of In Your Business with Dr. Alex, because we're about to get all up in my business because I think I've really done a disservice by not talking more about my own personal experience with depression, with anxiety, and how even to this day, I still have anxious moments, but I've found ways to self coach and catch myself and get myself out of that very quickly. Like as soon as the thought comes in, I'm able to disarm it and move on with what I'm doing. And this has really been, in my heart and on my mind to talk about because, every time I open Facebook, your memories pop up on Facebook. And so for me, every time I open it, it's a video because I've been live streaming and making videos on social media for like 3, almost 4 years now. And so every time I open it, there's some video that I made. But the videos that I've been making over these past 3 and 4 years are actually documentation of my journey. I just documented the things that I was doing, the things that I was eating, the things that I was watching, listening to, reading, just the different tools and strategies that I was using in my real life as I was, being a student, finishing my doctorate, raising my kids, being a mom, living life. I was just sharing the things that were working for me in real time. So it's all documented in videos. And so I was sharing all of that because I found a way to free myself from medication, from panic attacks, from depression, from anxiety. I found a way to really heal myself in a holistic way. And so I documented all of that. And that's actually how I came up with Spice, the framework that I use, because it's all things that I've pulled from my real life that I've been able to use to, again, just break free and be well emotionally, to be well physically in a holistic way. That's what I've created, and that's what I shared and was documenting throughout the years. So every time I put on Facebook, there's one of my videos and I watch, and I just like, I look to see how much I've changed over the years. And that's another thing to think about is it's been years and it doesn't happen overnight. And I think there's times in our lives where we can have, rapid expansion, but there's other times where it occurs more slowly. And so right now, though, I'm in a time of like rapid expansion right now, which is amazing, but it took time to get to where I'm at right now. And so I'm very, all my videos are very real, and you're going to see me with different colored hair and all kinds of things. And my kids are babies, like Ches was so little, but they're all documentation of what I went through. And so I wanted to share a little bit more about, one of the most pivotal moments that I had, like that moment of like awakening for myself that I had, and share more about how, you know, the the emotional things that we deal with, the emotional stresses that we deal with, they absolutely have physical ramifications, right? They absolutely have physical consequences. Our emotional origins, our emotional stressors, they have physical consequences on our body. And these physical consequences are killing women. I can't even say that enough. These emotional stressors have physical consequences that are killing women. And I just made a post about this over on LinkedIn yesterday, and I've shared it a couple other places. But, toxic admiration, women feeling like we just got to keep going and keep doing and keep being all the things for everybody because we're women, because of a gender thing, because of a cultural thing, because of a religious thing, like all this fucking pressure that's put on us to just keep going and keep going and keep going. And I fell into that, and that shit almost killed me. And so I wanted to talk about that story today because about my dad passed away about 16 years ago. And at that time, I was in school full time. I only had two kids. My son was about 3, my daughter was about 1. And I was going to school full time. I was the mom. I was, the wife. We're running the house. We're trying to do all the things. And I'm just trying to get through life, right? Because I'm in my 20s. I don't even know what I was really doing, even with myself at that time. And then here comes my dad, who had a massive heart attack and then ended up coming to live with me. And he was really sick, had to manage medications, go to doctor's appointments, blood sugars, insulins, all the things. And then a couple weeks later, he ended up passing away suddenly from another heart attack and another stroke. So he passes away. And it's like now I'm having to deal with my dad's passing. We had to decide to take him off of life support, very dramatic. And then I had to deal with like the after effects. And I'm like, I can't stop going to school. I can't stop being a mom. I can't stop going to work. I got to deal with this. And something had to give. And what I decided to give was not to grieve. And in the time when all this was happening, retrospect, whatever, I look back and now I know I didn't take time to grieve and then I should have. But in the moment, I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. In the moment, I just thought of, well, you're the mom. You got to get busy. There's things you got to still keep doing. You can't stop now. And that's the mode I got into. And I just kept on going. I went back to school. I kept on doing everything that I had to do because I felt like I had to do it because that's what I had to do. So I didn't take any time to grieve. And again, looking back in retrospect, that was such a huge mistake because not taking time to grieve came back to bite me in the ass years later because I got so physically sick because after I had Cesare, I went into heart failure. I went into heart failure because I was like 75 pounds overweight. I had ridiculously high blood pressure. I was stressed out. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was on all these medications. I had so many physical health issues wrong with me that the doctor just looked at me and was like, don't think about getting pregnant again. Don't think about having any more kids because you won't make it. Your baby won't make it. You're going to die. Like, it scared the shit out of me. And it was that moment where I realized that I was like, what have I allowed to happen to myself? Alex, what have you allowed to happen to yourself? Because all I kept thinking of was of my kids. And I was like, holy shit, are my kids going to have to come take care of me in a hospital or in a bed because I can't get up? Like 600-pound life was flashing in my brain at that point because I was like, oh, fuck, they're going to have to come, bring me stuff and take care of me. I was like, am I going to die? And then my kids are going to have to grieve for me. Am I going to cause so much trauma for them? And then who's going to take care of them? Who's going to take care of my man? Who's going to take care of my house? Like, that's all the stuff that I started thinking about. And I was like, what have you allowed to happen? Why have you allowed yourself to get to this point? And that was the moment where I decided to save my life, to really change everything. And that's where the I of Spice came from, is insight. That's like the most foundational center part, is that insight, is that self-awareness of my situation and the ownership, and then the decision to do something about it. So that's when I started making videos and documenting my journey of me essentially saving my life. It's how I created Spice. It was all the different parts, and I started putting them together and realized that this worked, that this caring for myself in this way worked. And there was all these layers of healing that I needed to go through. And how much of my emotional health mattered. And that's such a huge part that's missing right now, I think, in the conversation around health and women's health, especially, is this toxic admiration, is this we are literally killing ourselves trying to do and be everything for everybody except for ourselves. And, I often say that healthcare people are some of the most sickest functioning people out there, because I was one of them. I was in healthcare taking care of everybody else, saving other people's lives, and I couldn't even save my own. I almost died. And I know if I would kept going and didn't have that moment of clarity and of awakening, that who knows where I'd be right now, because I know my heart wouldn't have made it. I know my physical body wouldn't have made it. Probably heart attack, probably stroke myself, probably follow in the footsteps of so many other people in my family tree. So I documented everything that I started doing and started sharing it because it was working for me. And I was able to get off of the medications. I was able to not have the high blood pressure. I was able to lose weight. And when it comes to anxiety, anxiety is tricky because I still get anxious. I still do. I still deal with anxiety every single day. And because a lot of people look at me and they're like, oh, Alex, you're so confident and you're so empowering and you're so this and that. And I was like, honey, if you would have known me years ago, you would not have even guessed. I would never have guessed, because in the past, I was very much, wallflower. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. I'm not going to speak up. I'm not going to say anything. And just, again, how I've changed so much over the years, so much. And so people don't believe me. My students, when I teach them, don't ever believe me that I used to be like that. But it was finding my voice and healing myself. And when it comes to that anxiety, stopping that spiral, because that thought would start and then it would keep going. And then I could feel it in my chest and I could feel it like in my stomach start to spread, that anxious feeling. And now I catch myself. When that thought even just boom, just like starts, I shut that shit down and I reframe it and I self-coach myself and I get myself out of it. But it's taken time to learn how to do that for myself, because everybody's different. So you have to find the thing that works for you when it comes to that. And there's like different tips and strategies around that, but just being aware that you absolutely have control over that, because our emotional health, our feelings, they create chemical changes. They create physical changes in our bodies. And I'm going to give you a great example of it right now. There's a medical condition called takotsubo, and it translates Japanese, I'm pretty sure it's Japanese, into like squid or octopus. And in the medical community, we use it as a diagnosis for cardiac, for heart, because there's been so many patients I've taken care of. They come into, because cardiac is my background, they come in with all the signs and symptoms, everything, just like a heart attack. EKG, lab work, chest pain, all the things, heart attack. But what it is it's a broken heart. That's what takotsubo is. It's broken heart syndrome, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. And we would see men and women with it, but more often than not, it was a woman that was coming in with it. And it's that emotional grief, that despair that would cause physical changes, right? Physical and chemical changes in their bodies to make it seem like you were having a heart attack. And it eventually resolves. Right? But that's how powerful our mind, our emotions are, our thoughts are. And if our thoughts and our emotions are that powerful, where they can cause such traumatic events, for something terrible like that to happen to us, you better believe that there is a way to use your thoughts and your emotions to heal yourself, to reverse all of that, because you absolutely can. And that's what I did. That's how I created Spice. Why I created Spice, because that's what I was able to do for myself. It's so powerful. But we have so many women out here, ladies, that are just dying from this toxic admiration, this religious influence, right? The cultural, the gender, all the things that we have to fill that role. We have to be that person. That's who we have to be. And it's like, no, that is killing us. It's killing us. And so that's why I want to start the conversation around this, build a community around this. That's what Damas Unleashed and Damas Dynasty is all about. You might have seen me posting more about it, because we need a safe space to care for the whole woman. And that's what I do through my practice and with what I do, and how it's so different. We're caring for the whole woman. We're caring for your emotional wellness, for your spiritual wellness, your physical wellness, getting clarity and sharpening your insight and your self-awareness, your intuition. We're building all of that within you, because it's been repressed. It's been held down. You're not doing it because you're so worried about everything else and everybody else. And it's time to bring you back in line with yourself, in tune with yourself. When we talk about your career and what you're doing in this world, do you actually even love it? Do you actually even love what you're doing, and how you can bring more joy and more happiness into what you're doing and in the impact that you're making in this world, how you're leading others, how you're leading yourself, how you're leading your family? There's so much in there. I could go on and on about it. I don't want to go too much on and on, because I don't want this video to be super long, but This is, if you resonated with this conversation, if you're like, yes, girl, like that's me. I keep going, I keep doing, I'm trying to fill all the roles, I'm trying to be all the person. It's killing me. It's taking a toll on my body, on my physical health. My blood pressure is high. I'm stressed out. My joints are hurting. I'm tired, but I can't fall asleep because I'm so anxious. Honey, I've been there. And I know that there's a way out. There's a way to free yourself. There's a way to heal from that. And you can't do it alone. You absolutely can't do it alone. So that's why I'm starting this community, this conversation. I'd love for you to be a part of it. If this interests you, I'd love for you to join us. Let me know what stuck out to you about this video today. I want to do more videos around this, but I just wanted to really share more about my personal experience with this, what I still go through all the time when it comes to this. You know, I've been there. I've been through a lot of things, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit more today. So let me know what stuck out to you about this video. Really, I want to know what you think. What hit you? What feelings are you getting from it? Again, safe space, no judgment. People who talk with me, no, they could tell me whatever it is that they want to tell me. Like just today, I had a client call earlier, and honey, we went deep on that call. She was like, I never would have thought that this is what we were going to talk about today. And I feel 30 pounds lighter, and we've just been talking. And I'm like, yes, girl, because this shit is weighing you down, this subconscious stuff that we're holding on to. It goes so deep. It goes back and back and back. It's not ever what you think it is. And again, I'm not a therapist, but like we do some deep work when you work with me. It's not just go do this workout and go worry about your protein. No, we do so much more than that. So I can't wait to make the next video on this. I really like talking about this and sharing about this. So you want more, let me know. And I'll be sure to make some more videos around this. And like I always say, for a balanced life, just add spice. I'll catch you in the next video.